I'm back. Let's go. Welcome to Last Chance Q with myself, Coach JB and Sean Salisbury.
We will not talk over the amateur or under the expert.
It's not only the X's and O's, but it's about the Jimmies and Joes.
And it's not just quarterbacks. We got all the positions, teaching, coaching, laughing, and joking.
We're using football terminology so we can get through this faster than we don't want to use these long terms, Coach. We got quick verbiage to get to the point. Last Chance Q with the great legendary Sean Salisbury. What up, man? Jeff, we are in the building. Sean won't be able to make it today. He's driving across Texas, the great state of Texas. He's driving across Texas. Texas becoming real blue out here, man. Houston, Dallas, Austin. Austin's the gayest city in America, but there's a lot of blueness going on in Texas lately, Jeff. It's crazy. Hope kind of turned into California. Elon might have left California too soon. I'm just fucking around, but we got a lot to discuss. Jeff, first of all, I want to congratulate you last week on this show. I think you hit every NFL pick, including the Cleveland Browns, which was your big winner of the week. But I didn't see anybody else congratulating you. They only talk about the losses that we have. I never heard that anyone said you went perfect last week on the show. It's crazy how that works. But anyway, welcome.
I don't know if I went perfect, but I definitely had a bunch of winners. You know, the Browns were kind of my top one. And now, you know, the Browns, what are they with Jameis Winston? We all saw one game, but can he continue to do that? We'll obviously talk about it. And Coach, you mentioned, you know, somewhat, you've talked about the election. Donald Trump's odds are plummeting. I mean, several days ago, he was a 2-1 favorite to win this election. This is getting closer and closer to even money. Kamala Harris is closing in. I think at this hour, if I had to play it and you had to ask me who was going to win, it's not my opinion. I voted Donald Trump. That said, I think Kamala Harris is going to win the election. I really do.
I know it's all fraud. It's all set up. Because if you go door to door, I bet you from any city in America, they would tell you Donald Trump is who they voted for, and we're seeing an even race. This shit's crazy to me. Like, you can't trust your government official. Who can you trust?
I mean, at the end of the day, though, he has gotten just pummeled in the market. A lot of big bets coming in on Kamala Harris. Look, she's got a lot of celebrities in her corner, which is, you know, obviously they're paid. I don't know that they really support her, but
that's why
it's going to be an interesting day in a couple of days here.
That's why it's so phony, man. I just see the biggest rig ever. He's already got rigged once. I just can't wait. Hopefully that, because I don't vote, man, because of this particular reason. Kudos to all you guys that do vote. And then the guys that do vote and actually say who you voted for, I have even more respect for. I don't vote. Having said that, it's because of these type of reasons. Even when I was a young kid in 80, Jeff, my dad taught me, like, the Carter Reagan election was similar to this right here. We've been doing this forever. We handpick who we want to be the president, whoever the puppet masters are. It's sickening to my stomach. This broad right here, though, yeah, I'm just telling you right now, I'm gonna have to get the fuck out of Dodge if she becomes president. We're gonna be so fucked. But oh well.
Well, look, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the state that I live in, Pennsylvania, is likely the deciding state or one of the deciding states. Trump is actually, as we speak, which is very interesting. Trump is about 15 minutes from me right now, speaking right now. He's been all over this state recently. Don Lemon was
he's got to be the hardest worker in America. He's got to be the hardest working dude. He's been everywhere. It's coast to coast, man. Every day he's in a new city. I'm like, God damn, how'd you get from LA to goddamn Miami in 20 hours?
I was commenting on this, and you probably agree. I mean, both candidates, I mean, regardless of what you think of them, like the last couple of months, like all they do, like it's crazy. Like that's a lot of, I mean, think about your own day, right? You do a 3-hour show, 4-hour show, you got a bunch of shit to do. You're tired by the end of the day. I mean, Donald Trump goes from this place to that. It's insane.
Nah, it is, man. It's just, it's just unfortunate, man, that people really believe these talking heads, LeBron James, Cardi B. Cardi B a year ago was voting Trump.
Cardi B is an imbecile. So I listen.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch it. I couldn't watch it because I've heard her talk before, and she's exactly what the definition of retard creates, it says. And unfortunately, I can't stand her. She's a fucking idiot. But a year ago, she voted Trump. I've seen some people or was leaning Trump. And apparently she must be on the Diddy tapes or something. I have no idea.
Well, you know,
yeah,
Trump
she was TBE trucking. Yeah, she was. You could go find it. She was talking about she would never vote for a Kamala Harris or a Biden. Go look it up, you fucking idiot.
Well, by the way, too, I mean, you look at Trump, like some of the things that he's done, though, like the Nelk boys, whether you like them or not, they're huge. I mean, they have a huge influence in the younger population. You look at guys like Jake Paul, people like that. But listen, not for nothing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, Coach. If you're taking what a celebrity tells you and that's why you're voting,
that's what I'm saying.
You probably need to do, you know, that's
what I'm saying, man. That's what the problem is. The problem is that I don't know if you saw my man come out, the comedian that started, you know, The Office, and what's his name? The old cat from UK. What's his name? God damn, the comedian, man, that started The Office.
I'm not sure.
The guy, the main comedian, he fucking ripped it last year on stage, and everybody was mad because he was like saying gay jokes and all kind of crazy shit. Like he's a shit. He don't give a fuck. But anyway, Ricky Gervais or whatever.
Gervais. Oh, okay.
Gervais. He came out. I don't know if you saw it, but he called out every celebrity that's voting for Kamala because he called them out and said, "I'm from this thing. I know what you guys are, and I know what you're hiding and what's being hidden for you. And I know why you're voting Kamala because you're on the list." Like he fucking did a video.
Well, listen, but Coach, hold on a sec. Here's what I'll say. Okay, and this is where like I get off the boat a little. I don't care what people think of me. There are policies of Kamala's that, again, I think are beneficial to this country. She's not. I just look at it from a standpoint of she's had 3-4 years to do this stuff, and her main job was the border, and that's a complete mess. How do we think she's going to do anything else? So I don't know. It'll be an interesting couple of days here.
It will be. I don't think when you say her policies, though, that's where I have a problem because it's not her policies. She couldn't give you one fucking policy if you asked her right in her face. And nobody I know, Jeff, can give me one policy that she's created or has. It's Biden's policies. This is
the Trump stuff talking. Like, yes, she does. I mean, she has plenty of policies. I mean, folks who don't like her will never say anything good about her. Just like if you like, you know, Kamala, you'll never say nothing good about Trump.
Jeff, just so you go on a commercial, Jeff, I want to be clear here because I'm a pretty smart motherfucker when it comes to this. Just so you go on a commercial and you have a fake commercial edited, and she goes on there and says, "I'm going to lower the middle class taxes." That's not a policy, bro.
Right.
That is a fucking propaganda.
And you know, Coach, you know too, like both candidates will do very little of what they actually say, right? But I will say, you're mentioning Diddy and stuff. You do know that Trump is close to Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Close to him, meaning what? On the island or meaning business?
Well, I mean, if we're going to show photos of hold on, if we're going to show photos of Diddy with people, let's show photos of Trump with Epstein.
They do.
Right?
What do you mean? That's the number one shared picture on
just so we're
yeah. I like that you call both ways. So
sure.
do I. Trump's picture with Jeffrey Epstein is the number one picture on the internet. It was used in court. Like, what do you mean? It's not like it's hidden and they don't show it.
No, but some of these folks don't want to ever talk about that stuff, right? It's always
that's why I don't vote.
Too. Donald Trump is a convicted felon, and he is someone who has had his fair share of loathing moments with women. That said, let's talk NFL, Coach. By the way, the Jets.
Hey, how do you feel? Before though, how do you feel about voting for a convicted felon?
I listen. I talk about felons for a living, so I don't have any issue. To me, the charge is weak. I told you that when it happened. It does just because you can commit a crime doesn't make you a bad person in my eyes. If you continue your whole life to do that, and most politicians are criminals anyway. So,
hey, it's crazy that it's funny. We'll move on to NFL, but we got lots to discuss and we got some film to show. I'm excited for the show. Sean won't be able to make it, but Jeff and I will kill it. Here's the crazy part about it is they do these charges and they do this stuff. I want to see something that's so pro-American, but nobody will really talk about it. I want Trump to win, even though it won't capture my vote because I won't vote. But I want to see Trump win and go in there and pardon himself. And that's a fucking American. That is what I want to see. Don't put the policy in, Jeff. As you talk about this all the time in your world, Don't put it in. Don't give us don't give us amendments and don't give us commandments and don't give us these things and then bitch and cry about it when this motherfucker wins and goes in there and pardons himself. And that's the American way. I can't fucking wait.
Well, listen, he may just do that. And here's one thing we'll just end it with. If go out and vote, especially in swing states. If you live in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, states like that, Arizona, New Mexico, they even think that could be a swing state. Maybe we'll see. Either way, look, if you live in California like JB, probably ain't going to mean too much. It doesn't mean anything actually, but
and this state, I'm just telling you, Jeff, contrary to everyone's belief out there, it's a lot more red than people think. And people just see the nasty bullshit, dumb shit, the woke shit in Oakland and LA and downtown and the bums. And then they think there's so much fucking red in this state. And just like Arizona, people don't realize it. How is Arizona a blue state on record? But go ahead and go drive through Arizona and tell me one motherfucker you see voting for Trump.
What's funny, you look at Pennsylvania, even like Philadelphia is 85% Democrat, but the rest of the state is this is a huge state, a lot of country, rural areas. Let me ask you, JB, I think I was in hell last night, actually. I saw you were arguing with an old colleague of mine who I argued with on occasion, Brandon Walker. I have to say,
who?
That guy, Brandon Walker, you were arguing with him last night over that coach screaming on the sidelines.
Yeah. You know what? I looked back and I was like, is this the Brandon Walker that wants me to come on his fucking show all the time? I'm like, yeah, it is. I didn't realize. I didn't know who it was. I figured it out late. I didn't think about it, but yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have to admit, like, do we have that video or no? The original video of the coach. I think it's a UM Monroe coach, I believe.
The O-line guy. Yeah.
But the coach, I mean, come on, coach. The guy's a complete jerk off. I mean, what is he up?
The coach?
Yeah, what is he doing? Like, do we have that?
Thing, Jeff. This always going to be the argument. You and Brandon Walker never coached. Like, just be honest. As
Walker says, neither do you.
To be fair, though, like, no, I don't coach now, Jeff.
I know.
You're not ignorant. He said that means he was trolling like a fucking bitch. And that's why I said you sound ignorant now. Because not only have I coached and did I coach, I'm fucking well-versed. Brandon Walker does content like you, Jeff. Let's be real. You two are content creators. Come on, Brandon Walker. Stay out of this lane. You guys are both on the same page talking about assumptions, Jeff. Do you see the guy do what you saw on film? Do you know what he did?
Okay, I'm gonna here's what I'll just say before I answer that. This whole thing would have been fine until he like ran up.
Stop assuming because you talk about this, Jeff, but there is room for it. And that's the difference. Like, that's what I'm saying. We'll always disagree with it because the common fan out there is going to say, oh, he looks weird and it's super weird. How do you know? This guy's job's on the line because this fucking 21-year-old. Like, you got to either be a former player or a coach or a current coach to understand this is not a big deal. Me and all the buddies that I know and everybody from Weddle to Sean King to Matt, we're laughing. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's a fucking normal day in the office. But everybody out there that don't know the normal day in the office operations are going to be sitting there and fucking butthurt about it.
But in this day and age, that will not get through to kids. It just won't. I mean, look at how they responded. Look at the players. Yeah. The players pulled them away, and they're not into that. Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. That's these players, Jeff. That we've created this. We've created these pussies over here on the sideline. Here's what I want to create. Here's the thing I gotta say.
But not every player's like, coach. You hate everything. Like no one will ever do it right in your eyes. You don't like anything.
Fucking right. You know why? Because mediocrity is not my excellence. Here's the issue though. I have. Here's the difference. Brandon Walker, yourself, and all these guys. You know what the number one thing they're saying? Out of this side of the mouth, they're saying, "Can't touch his ass. He's a grown man." On this side of the mouth, they're saying, "He's just a kid. Why is a grown man pushing him and cussing at him?" Which one is it, homie? Hold on, though. Which one is it? Are you going to pay this motherfucker and act as if he's a professional grown man? Or are you going to cry and bitch because you're yelling at this kid and calling him a kid?
But understand, I had no, like that, like doing this, I don't care about. But running after him is corny.
Jeff, you're a grown man. You're a professional, right? I'm trying to figure out which one is it.
But this is why I don't.
Man. That's why motherfuckers. And then they want to transfer on you. And then you want to get the coach fired. But then the coach can't yell at you. Make it make sense, man. Are you a professional grown man being paid, or are you a kid and want to sulk and suck your teeth when you get yelled at? Which one is it? Like, that's the problem I have. But that's a great start to the show, Jeff, because I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. I can't wait to do it with you. Hopefully, we're working on getting your Twitter back. They fucked you. You gonna start over new, fresh? I like.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it anymore. It'd be nice to just start over. I will say, Coach, just to put a bow on the ULM thing, according to they put a statement out, their athletic department, saying, quote, "This behavior is unacceptable and not how ULM football conducts business. There'll be disciplinary action taken against the coach. Because this is a personal matter, the discipline will be handled internally."
Yeah. What do you think they're gonna say, Jeff? Hey, man, we're fucking defending him perfectly. He's a great coach. We love him to death. Come on, man.
I also just want to put this out there.
That's why don't vote for Kamala. Don't vote for Kamala, because that's what will happen.
But since the start of coming on this show, I have never once claimed to be a football expert. I bet on sports. That's it. I love betting on sports. I couldn't give a fuck about being a football guy. Football fans are fucking weirdos to me.
It doesn't matter, Jeff. We all have our opinions. It doesn't matter.
But Coach, you know me. I don't like saying that I'll never be good at, like, I couldn't care less. I don't claim to be. Like, I just want to talk about gambling. That's all.
Yeah, that's your opinion, that you thought the guy looked corny running after him and blah, blah. So does Brandon Walker. It is what it is.
But Coach, let me just say this. Here's what I will point out. When I was a kid, a child, my father never I remember one or two times where he hit me. But my father just needed to speak. He need to yell. He didn't need to go crazy. Like, and that's why, to me, like, I think in the end I did okay in life, right? Like, I didn't need to be screamed at or dealt with like that. I don't think it works.
I got screamed at, and the fear of God was put into me early on. Never hit me though. My dad never hit me ever. But you know what? When you're taught respect, Jeff, when you're taught respect, you don't have to be hit. You have a fear factor in your mind that I'm going to let my dad down, who's given me everything. The fear of letting him down, not the fear of being hit. The fear of failing my father, or the respect factor of failing the mentor or the adult in the room. If there is no hierarchy, Jeff, which you talk about every day in your world, then we have a broken society. I'm tired of seeing people on Twitter talk about that this kid and this coach are the same fucking level. No, they're not. There is no hierarchy. We have a problem. There needs to be a fucking pecking order of things. And that doesn't mean hit a kid. That's
Hey, hold on, Coach. Hold on a second. Ban silent tripod should be banned. Don't talk about his daughter, bro. Seriously? I mean, get this fuck out of here.
Who?
Silent tripod. Get him out of
here. He's a nobody.
See ya, buddy.
So here's the thing. That's the problem, though. Like, there's a pecking order in things in all of the world. And see, if you're a CEO, guess what? You fucking report to who? The COO and the CEO have managers under them. They have employees. They have all these different people. If we put the player and the coach on the same level, a guy that's been coaching and feeding his family for 40 fucking years, and now we got a 17-year-old who's a bitch-ass kid who cries and moans about fucking money that he's supposed to get that he's never earned, how is that equal? And how are we supposed to really be coaches, mentors, and get guys right for real life, real world? We can't. And
that's why I think it does suck that, like, all you'll see today on Twitter is, oh, you're coaching at UL Monroe, calm down. It's like, no, that's his job. Like, he's trying to feed his family to doing that. And I'll tell you what, UL Monroe's got a damn good rushing attack, man. That's a good football team. So that's a shame that that'll happen to the guy. I'm sure it was just one bad.
I don't think they'll fire him because there's too much backing. He's got all kind of support already because everyone knows he's a good dude. So they'll say something, they'll reprimand them, they'll say they fined them or something. It's a sad thing. It's a sad day though. We've seen all these guys, man, in this day and age. You can't coach anymore, Jeff. But guess what? The kids can do whatever they want. That's the problem. So it is what it is, man.
Patriots Titans. That's our first game. Let's get into it.
Patriots Titans. Let's get into it. Can't wait to talk to you about this. We got a lot to discuss here. Patriots Titans, Jeff. I don't know. Here's the thing. I did another parlay with BetUS. This show is powered by BetUS, so head on over there. Use our promo code CoachJB. Get 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. Man, listen. These are two bad teams, Jeff. I've lost on the Titans 2 weeks ago when I said they'd cover versus the Bills. They got absolutely mollywopped. They have no quarterback. Let's just be fair. They lost their head coach. I told Bailey, who's a Titans guy, I said, man, you can't be very good when you lose your head coach, who all the players respected and loved, and feared to let down in Mike Vrabel. And then you lose a lot of offensive weapons. You lose Derrick Henry. I don't see how they're going to be better. And first few weeks they look competitive, and now it's starting to set in, Jeff. The realization that they just don't have anything other than a few guys on D-line. Other than that, this team is in shambles, in my opinion. And I don't know if I could pick them ever again. But now you look at who they're playing, Jeff. The Patriots, who are coming off a high. They beat the Jets. They're a team that's just one day they could play okay on offense. The next day they have no offense, and they're horrific on defense. Like, what Patriots team is this? Coach calls them out, calls them soft. It is what it is. This is a pick-em game, Jeff. It could be any type of game, either way. I don't know if I would even fuck with this game, Jeff, if I was a capper. But you know better than me. It's a game for me to stay away from.
Yeah, I mean, the Titans line, it's -3, right? You get 3 points for home field in the NFL. It's basically, you're right, it is a coin flip. Tennessee Titans are 1-6 this year against the spread. So they've been burning money for bettors. Look, I lean New England. I think you make a good point. Drake May's actually, as far as on the surface as a quarterback, played pretty well. This defense needs to get better, right? They didn't look good against Houston. They didn't look good against Jacksonville. Tony Pollard might be out. We don't even know who the quarterback's going to be for Tennessee. I just don't think they should be a favorite to anybody. Give me Stevenson. Give me Drake May, who's obviously been able to move the football a little bit. If it was Jacoby Brissett, it'd be a different story. This is not a game I will be betting on. I want to make that abundantly clear. That said, I have no interest in, by the way, Tennessee, 3-7 over the last 10 games, laying points. They are not a good favorite. This is a bad Titan team. I mean, straight up. I'll lean Patriots +3.5.
Whew, man. Yeah. I'm going to agree, man. I think they're both could be. Drake May, I don't even know. Is he healthy enough to start?
He'll start. He passed,
concussion protocol. Past concussion protocol. But again, now you got a guy that we haven't really seen a lot of because he's been hit and miss. He got in the game. Everyone said, oh, he looks good for a quarter. He gets put out. We haven't seen him in a week. I don't know. I would probably lean the Patriots because this is where you start to talk, fold up the tent and get ready for the draft. If you're in Nashville for the Tennessee Titans, I could see that happening right here. They need a QB, a franchise type of QB. They're still searching for their next, Steve McNair, and even they'd be happy with a Tannehill right now, Jeff.
But I think as well, if you're looking at the Titans, like, how can you back this team right now as laying points? I mean, look, this was, I think, the one or two games that I was wrong on last week. I thought the Titans could maybe hang as a double-digit underdog, and maybe the Lions just kind of go through the motions. I mean, Coach, I just want to make this clear. Jared Goff last week had 85 passing yards, and they scored 52 points. And that's insane. The Titans, I just think, are lost. I think you're 100% right. I think it's time to just kind of pack it in. I think that's what they're going to do and hopefully get a quarterback. They don't even have Pollard this week. I don't know where you go offensively if you're them.
I agree. The next game, Jeff, is interesting because I have film on both, and the Chargers-Browns. The Chargers coming off. Harbaugh just continues to grind, pound it out, play solid defense. Yeah. Herbert's been efficient lately, as of late. Not big godly numbers, Jeff, but he's been efficient. They're getting Will Disley, a tight end that no one probably thought would be a factor, is getting 5-6 catches a game as of late. He's a fantasy projected guy. If you guys need a tight end on the cheap, go get Will Disley, who's been performing at a 5-6 catch rate per week for the Chargers. So I would go fuck with him. But the Browns, Jeff, the era of Jameis Winston has entered the chat, and I want to show a little film on this. Why we go ahead, Bailey? I want to show a little film, Jeff, because this is what people should expect this week versus the Chargers. Real quick, first of all, we're not in the gun first play. That's what Deshaun Watson was known for, Jeff. We are now under center in more of an offense that is predicated for success, and we're in a little 12 personnel, Mina Kimes' nemesis. So we're going to get into some 12 personnel. We're going to run the football with a great ground and pound run game. Let those running backs and O-line know this is what we're going to do, Jeff. And you did it versus a good Ravens team, and you kind of stymied the Ravens team and went back and forth with them. It's going to be very interesting to see Jameis Winston navigate this week's offense. Again,
but see, this is what I've been saying for a long time, JB. Like, when they had Deshaun Watson, they were throwing 40 times a game. Like, it just was stupid. They finally have everybody back on the offensive line. You're under center. You're running the football, which will open up the passing game. That said, you just kind of alluded to what I like in this football game. I like the under here. And that's no surprise with a Charger game. The Chargers are playing like it's 1960, Coach. I mean, they're running the football. They don't have a ton of weapons really on the outside. Justin Herbert is not really taking that next step. Throw in as well. This is a little underrated. This is a 1 o'clock game, East Coast, first kind of getting going at the 1 o'clock hour. I don't believe the Chargers have played earlier than 4 this season. I like the under. I think both these defenses play well in this game. I think Jameis could make a mistake or two. Now the whole world's watching Jameis. We kind of never knew what he was going to be, and that's when I feel like he makes some mistakes, maybe in the red zone. I think this is first to 20 wins. I like the under.
Yeah, I agree. Chargers are going to be hard to beat, but the Jameis Winston-led Browns are going to be on a high, I can promise you. And his finger-licking speeches before the game are going to get their rivaled up. They're going to get riled up. They're going to be ready to go. I circled a few things here, Jeff, and I boxed a few things for you. The big yellow circle shows that we're going to be offensive predominant heavy to the right side, to the field side. Here's the hash down here. We're on the left hash where the ball is. I want to let you know what the Browns have done without Deshaun Watson, what they've included and implemented with Jameis Winston. Very similar to what they did last year with Joe Flacco when they went on a run. They have basically said, I'm going to put everything to the right in that yellow circle, and now I want to isolate a tight end, a receiver, and a back, okay? And I'm going to square this guy in the square box is a +1 defender. Okay. Here's a guy that I'm going to say, all right, he's locked onto my back. I have a tight end who can isolate a safety or a nickel. And I got a corner 1-on-1. You notice this guy? He's lost. Now I know my quarterback, Jeff, can have a much more successful game, knowing a numbers game tells me I can go left at any time in a numbers scenario, and I can eat. And that is what he will do. He likes the numbers. They do a good job with him and Flacco, making sure that we cut off half the football field and make sure that we know we're going to work this side of the football field in theory. I like what they're doing. Take me out, Bailey. I like what they're doing, Jeff, here. And I think they're going to see the numbers game with Jameis Winston, that they're going to be a lot more successful, because going into the season, Jeff, you and I both thought they have a great defense, a great run game. Deshaun Watson, we didn't know which one we'll get, but the team has been decimated by the Deshaun Watson factor.
Yep.
They don't want this guy. Their defense hasn't performed because their offense has been so bad. I'm tired of going out there for this motherfucker. I mean, all that's going to be said in the locker room. Now they have a guy they like and they want to play for. I'm telling you, this is going to be a daunting team as they may get back in the AFC North here.
I agree. And then if you've watched this show, you know, I really like this Browns team. I played them. I was betting them under Deshaun Watson. I was betting them last week. That said, this is a much tougher game to deal with defensively. The Chargers are really good defensively, only giving up 13 points a game. The Ravens have one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. Also, we have to also remember, I mean, they have no one to throw to. Jameis still found ways to move the ball. Cedric Tillman came out of nowhere. I don't know if that happens this week. I think they can find a way to win, but everybody's all over the Browns after seeing Jameis. I feel like a lot of pressure's on. I took the under. Again, 42.5. I think it's too high. Chargers games have been dead under. 6-1 to the under the Chargers are this year.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just what NFL is, Jeff. That's a great pick. Everybody will agree probably with you. And then these two teams will go out there and score 21 each. And I can see that happening as well. So it is what it is. I'm also, man, it's a tough pick'em game, man. I'm gonna roll with Jim Harbaugh as the better football coach in these scenarios. And I'm gonna say they get it done late. And I could see this being a 24-21 football game, to be very honest. Two good defenses against two offenses still trying to figure themselves out. So I'm going to say the Chargers win the game. I would probably pick them head straight up on a money line if I were to bet this one today, because it is a field goal game in my opinion, but you never know. Jeff, where we at with the Saints Panthers? The bottom of the barrel. Chris Olave will start. I'm going to pick him on my DFS, so head on over to Prize Picks if you want to use my promo code Coach JB. Olave is a big pick with Derek Carr getting the nod, Jeff. Derek Carr said, "I'm not the savior, Jeff." He's not, because he can barely walk by faith and not by sight when the O-line doesn't block for him. Here's the thing. The Panthers are just the Panthers. You alluded to them being a very bad team. The Saints have been horrific without Derek Carr at the helm. And I've never seen a team, Jeff, just to give out a little bit of stats, go from averaging 40 points a game in the first 2 weeks to under 15 in the last 6. That is a huge disparity that we've never seen in NFL history. Basically a 25-point swing on offense. Their offense has been abysmal. And the Panthers at times can play decent defense. So is Derek Carr going to come right in without any hiccups, Jeff? Or is it going to be Derek Carr that's going to be greasy and having to get through it, and then finally in the fourth quarter he starts to get warm? I don't know, Jeff. This is another game that I'm very, very shy about. I don't know if I want to fuck with this one.
Yeah, remember when the Saints were one of the best teams in the NFL, 40 points a game? Yeah, they've lost 6 straight. And look, it hasn't been easy. Not having Derek Carr obviously hurts, but this struck me as kind of a get-right game, JB. This is a Panther team that is just so bad. These are two of the two worst defenses in the NFL as far as total defense. I believe 31 and 32. That said, the under has gotten a lot of smart money this week. I just think the Panthers are so inept offensively. I will tell you, too, they scored a touchdown with about 20 seconds to go last week. It made me lose my bet. That said, I digress. I like New Orleans here. I think we get back to what we kind of saw at the first couple of weeks of the season. That said, Saints have a couple of cornerback problems. That said, I'm not worried about the Panthers really doing much. I think Bryce Young is brutal. Carolina is just a whipping boy. They have been all year, and I think they continue to be. This was my least interested game this week. I don't have much on it. I kind of skip right over it. No interest.
I'm leaning towards no interest either. If I was just going to give a pick away so you guys could take my insight and go with it, I would have to go Chris Olave with a big day today and Derek Carr's return. Derek Carr at least can spread the field, throw the ball with the arm talent. So I would assume that opens the game up for Kamara.
But Coach, some people are saying like a meltdown by the Saints offense. They haven't had Derek Carr. They've had issues on the offensive line. Remember in that Eagles game, their center got hurt. I believe their left guard or right guard got hurt. They've kind of just fell apart because they don't have their main people. Getting Derek Carr back will help. I think they move the ball. Maybe a team total over with the Saints. They score into the 30s today, maybe.
Yeah, 43.5. You said over under. Yeah, both defenses are bad. Bryce Young, I think, still getting the start, right? He's bad. It's fuck, Jeff. This is just a tough one, man. I'm gonna go Saints. Saints to win this one. -7 though, Jeff. If I was asking Jeff Nadu for advice,
if you made me play this game, I would lean Saints. But again, I can't seem to figure
cover 7.
Yeah. I can't seem to figure the Panthers out. At times they were able to move the ball last week against Denver, which seemed like an immovable object defensively. So the Panthers are just kind of a weird team. I can't bet them. I don't want to bet them.
Yeah, I agree. It's fucked up, man. I'm gonna take the Saints though in the game. Dolphins, Bills, Jeff. Now, here's the thing, Jeff. This is the thing about this. The Miami goes northeast. They struggle. 0-11 Tua is on the road in cold weather games. Number one, it's not cold yet there, like cold. Having said that, though, they also have a fair share in beating a Bills team that's usually better than them. The Dolphins are 2-5. Interesting game. We're going to have to make some interesting, tough decisions for the audience here today. It's a +6.5 spread for Miami. Over under 49, Jeff. Man. It's very interesting, Jeff, to give some stats and some meat and potatoes to this. They gave the top 10 NFL's fastest men. Do you know the Miami Dolphins have 4 of the top 10 fastest guys in the NFL? Tyreek Hill, Waddle, A-Chain. I believe the other one was Mozart or one of those. 4 of the top 10 guys in the NFL, the fastest guys. And they're 2-5 without Tua. They play a Bills team who, I mean, have been playing well, man. I've been playing well. This seems like their division to lose. I'm going to rock with the Bills today and just put their fucking foot on Miami's throat because I agreed. Tua lost last week to an Arizona team. Will he be better today? Maybe, probably. He might get Tyreek Hill and Waddle involved more than last week. That having been said, though, I think the Bills are just a more physical team. And I'm going to rock with the Bills. And I think Miami gets put out of playoff contention today, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a house of horrors. Bills have won 8 straight against the Miami Dolphins. Sean McDermott has completely owned them in his career. And I think we're seeing, Coach, why outside of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL. He continues to do more with less. They've been very balanced offensively. And what do we know about Miami? You know, it's the same old issues. Can't get stops defensively. They finally moved the football last week with their quarterback back, and they can't stop Kyler Murray. You look at this Bills team, they've scored 31 or more 5 times this season, I believe. Pretty unbelievable. I like this offense a lot. This is one of my favorite bets on the board. I'm not laying the 6 or 6.5. The whole world is betting the Bills. Something tells me the Dolphins will score as well. But I like the Bills team total. Their group total, 27.5. I think they again get into the 30s. I like this Bills offense a lot. I don't like this Miami team at all. This defense stinks. A couple of guys out. Give me Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The next one, Jeff's very interested. I'm taking the Cowboys in this. I've already made a bet on BetUS. I'm taking the Cowboys money line to win the game. It's a +3 spread for the Cowboys. Over-under is 52, Jeff. The Falcons have hit a wall as of late as well on offense. They're not the same team that threw for 503 yards and Kirk Cousins in the last few weeks. They're getting Pitts involved more, which is a good sign to me to open up Drake London on the outside and a couple of get Bijan Robinson involved. They are 5-3. They're facing a 3-4 Cowboys. To me, this is a must-win for both franchises. The Cowboys lose this game, I believe that, after losing to the Niners, after just basically struggling in all facets of the football game. I don't know what the Cowboys do. It's probably a fire sale, and they blow the thing up. I would think Jerry Jones would. Over under 52 is interesting, Jeff. It's right there where you would think because 2 high-scoring offenses, defenses have been shoddy at times, especially the Cowboys' run defense hasn't been able to stop anybody. And if you're a DFS guy, you got to load up on the Cowboys running back because Ezekiel Elliott is a scratch for the first time in his career. He's a healthy scratch because he's a shitbird, and that's what shitbirds do. They miss practice, they miss meetings, etc., and that's what he's been doing. And they did not bring him on the game. So the Cowboys will be a one-trick pony in the backfield. So if I'm a DFS guy, I'm betting heavy running back by committee with the Cowboys today. But I'm also betting Kyle Pitts in the DFS side because Kirk Cousins have found him a new weapon. I think it's a shootout, Jeff, personally. Can't wait to hear your take because I think it's a shootout. I'll probably say over.
Yeah, when I was looking over lines this week, I kind of said to myself, who stops who in this game? That said, though, when you take out the Bucs games, Kirk Cousins has not been real good, quite honestly.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
And I think the Falcons have beat up on some bad football teams. They played the Panthers. They played the Saints, I believe, at one point. They got beat up by the Seahawks. This is a Dallas team who I think if you give Dakota Prescott a clean pocket, which you will, Coach, Atlanta is historically bad at getting to the quarterback. 2.18% as far as sack percentage. That means only 2% of the time do they get a sack per snap. That is ungodly low in the league. Dak's going to have a clean pocket. This is a Falcon defense that I don't love. Okay, they're not real good in the back end, but this is also a Dallas defense that's not real good at the back end. They're not Micah Parsons. This defense is kind of falling apart. I think these 2 quarterbacks duel here today in the Dome. My first thought, fast track shootout, 51.5 over. Seemed like a 30-27 type of game. I like the over as well. Dallas, 5 out of 7 games this year have went over. I agree.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's go to this next game, man, because this is an interesting one as well. Ravens coming off the loss to Jameis Winston's Browns. We just talked about the Broncos are going in here with a +9. I'm taking the Broncos. I'm just telling you, Jeff, right now on BetUS, I believe it's 9.5. I'm taking the Broncos to cover this game. This is the game that everyone expects the Ravens and Lamar Jackson to come out and just get over that bad taste in their mouth against the Browns and dominate. But they're facing a buzzsaw. The Denver defense is that real. They're a serious contender on defense. And Bo Nix is doing just enough in Sean Payton's offense to keep them afloat. And they have enough weapons versus a bad secondary, Jeff, in Baltimore. I think that the Broncos and Sean Payton, being the great coach that he is, in my opinion, I know how he rebuilds places. I think that he keeps them in this game, and I think this game comes down to a late field goal. Maybe a 6-point game. 9.5, no way. I'm keeping the Broncos in this one. I'm taking the Broncos to cover 9.5.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I disagree. I'm going the other way. I do think the Ravens bounce back at home here. And I also throw in, they have a hard time winning by margin because of what you alluded to. They don't have a very good secondary. That said, is Bo Nix, is he really someone that can exploit that on the road, 1 o'clock? You're just going to get the ball shoved down your throat. And when we really look at it, Coach, look at this. The Broncos have played nobody. The only good team they played really was the Chargers, a game in which they lost 23-16. They luckily got the Saints without Carr. They played the Panthers, at times couldn't get stops last week. I just don't think they're a very good football team. I think defensively you can move the ball, run the ball down the throat. Lamar, I am a little concerned, though. Lamar was kind of not 100% this week. He didn't practice. That's all concerning to me. My first thought was I don't think that the Broncos can attack the Ravens secondary. And it's going to be hard to run on this team defensively. So I like the Ravens. Something tells me they win 24-10 here. Something tells me.
Yeah. Jeff's going with the Ravens to cover. I'm going to take the Broncos to cover the line 9.5 on BetUS. I think it's 9, Jeff.
But also, too, and a lot of people will point, and I have as well, and I know you did, at how bad the Ravens secondary is. But they have faced an onslaught of really good quarterbacks, man. Is Bo Nix that? Maybe. I don't know.
It's
not Mahomes, though.
Give some fans some insight and maybe yourself if you want it. Here's what, I agree with you. Bo Nix is not going to sit back there and Tom Brady you, not as a rookie. But to be fair, he could be. You could argue he's probably played right behind Jaden Daniels in this draft as probably the second best quarterback in this draft as far as performance-wise, as far as not hurting his team. Not hurting his team is a big thing, especially in a Sean Payton-led offense. When you got weapons and you can run the football like the Broncos do, you don't put all that onus on this kid. And that's what Sean Payton does well. That's why I think they'll cover 9. Will he go for 350? No. But I think he'll do enough.
I'll just throw this out. The Ravens have played Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, who's played well, and Jameis Winston last week. So they played a tough group. And look, they lost last week too. That helps me.
Don't forget, Jeff. Don't forget. They also played the fucking Raiders with no Q that lit their asses up.
Sure.
Lit them up.
I just don't taking Nix and putting him, in Baltimore, 1 o'clock start, first time. It's just tough to me.
Nobody thought the Raiders would do that either with Minshew. And I'm gonna be honest, and same time slot, same type of game, and they went in there, an AFC West team, and got it late, Jeff. They came back down 10 late. I remember watching that game and beat the Ravens, and nobody thought. And that's when the Ravens started off 0-2. The world was crashing. Then they go on a run, and then now all of a sudden you see the Ravens struggle the last 2 weeks on getting that offense blended again, like I've been talking about. And now, do they get back on track, or do they struggle and continue to have a resume put out there? That's the question I have for this.
This game's going to come down to offensive and defensive lines. Denver's been very good at getting to the quarterback. Ravens have been good at not allowing Lamar to get sacked. He obviously plays around in the backfield, runs around. So if they can get to him a little bit, that could set off the issue for them. We'll see. We kind of disagree here. Real quick, do you mind sharing, Nadu, what site you use to share betting percentages? I pay for a company. It's called Odds Logic. It's $99. But you'd have to pay for it if you want it.
Hey, Jeff, appreciate you addressing the fans. Here we go. The Raiders-Bengals is a trap game. Everyone's money is going to go with the Bengals, and I haven't even seen it. I'm sure Jeff will probably point that out and agree. Everyone's betting the Bengals, blah, blah, blah. It's Bengals -8, over under 45. Listen, Jeff, this is a trap game for the Bengals. The Bengals are expected to go on one of their famous historical November runs. That is what the Bengals are notorious for. Start slow, finish fast, get in the playoffs, beat Mahomes, one of the few teams that can beat him in Arrowhead, blah, blah, blah. This Bengal team is broken. They can't be fixed. Their defense is soft. Their defense is weak. They have no secondary support. They don't fit the run very well. They're horrific in fourth quarter defense. Having said that, offensively, they're as good as anybody. Burrow could be having an MVP type of season if they weren't 3-5. Nobody's talking about it. He's been unbelievable. He has bounced back for sure. Jamar Chase, I don't know what's up with Higgins. Do they get him? Is he healthy? Is he a scratch? I haven't seen that yet, Bailey, if you can help us with that. But have the Raiders melded in, Jeff? Have the Raiders said, fuck, enough is enough as well? That's the concern. That's what you always have to ask yourself. I think the Bengals just scored more points today, Jeff. I'm going to be honest with you. I would take the Bengals in a money line game. I don't know if I'm picking them to cover 8, though.
Yeah, I mean, from an analytical standpoint, this secondary for the Raiders has been terrible. This defense sucks. I mean, they seemingly every week give up 27-plus points. The Bengals are going to have the ability. They have plenty of weapons to move the ball. It's been kind of a rough couple of games for the Bengals. Lost last week, kind of got beat up by the Eagles, couldn't move the ball against the Giants. That said, I think the Raiders can score like 20 here. I took the over. I think the number's too low. I don't think the Bengals are very good on defense. I guess the worry is the Raiders have just mailed it in. They've only scored they haven't scored more than 20 in a pretty long time. In fact, you got to go all the way back to September 22nd, the last time the Raiders scored more than 20 points. They just don't do it very often. I think they will give up a lot of points, though, today. I took the over 45.
Yeah, no Higgins. They're going to have to get the little Italian guy involved. They got a little young wide receiver there in Cincinnati who's blossoming. I don't know. I don't know what it's a tough game. I'm going to go Bengals money line on this one to win the game. That's what I picked on BetUS. So
you put that in a parlay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you should be. I think you should be safe there. I mean, obviously they're over a touchdown favorite. The Raiders have looked really bad and seemingly get blown out. You know, they've lost by 7 or more in 3 of the last 4 games. This should be a get-right game for the Bengals, but they can't seem to get out of their own way.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on, get through this last morning slate that's going to start here in about 35 minutes. Commanders-Giants. This is also a money line game that I've taken, Jeff. I've taken the Commanders to win the game. They're 6-2. Can't afford a hiccup here against the Giants team that has a good defense led by sack leader Dexter Lawrence. But other than that, Jeff, this team is abysmal. They just have no weapons. Their O-line's horrible. Sometimes at times, even though their D-line and defense is playing great, their secondary gives up big plays. They're sitting here at 2-6. This is a 4.5. Commanders -4.5. Over under 44.5, Jeff. I don't know. I would probably be a guy that bets the over-under if I was a bettor, but I put them in a parlay as well on a money line with the Commanders to win. Give us your over-under take and the spread.
Yeah, so this is my favorite play of the week. I took the Giants +4. Guys, this is where I think, you know, and the guy was talking about betting percentages. The Commanders are the most bet team this week in the market, okay? And I don't know if people have followed this, but bettors like myself have gotten beaten up taking this. Favorites have been cashing a lot this year. Eventually, that is going to change. And I think we saw it last week with a group like the Ravens getting killed in the market. They lose the game outright. The Giants, you alluded to, you made a good point. This is a real good defense. They get to the quarterback. They have a sack percentage that's the highest in the NFL, okay? This is a group in Washington who hasn't exactly been real good on the offensive line. Their quarterback's getting sacked, I believe, the 18th most in the league. I look at the Giants. Look, I know their offense sucks, but I think there's positivity to look at in some aspects. Tyrone Tracy's playing pretty well for them. They've got some weapons on the outside. This number has not moved, Okay. And when you have the most bet team in the NFL on a weekly basis, including the Commanders, that line should be going up. This line should be 5 or 6 by now. It stayed at 4. That's a sheer sign to me that the Giants are going to win this football game. That said, I'll take the 4. I like the Giants +4.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Redskins. We're different on that.
Let me ask you too, real quick. I mean, a lot of people will bet the Commanders stay because they won last week. Did you see how they won? I mean, that meant literally nothing to like the grand scheme of things. It's just, and I don't know that Daniels even played real well. So
yeah,
he might
wait,
still
no matter to me. I don't even look at that. I think that they actually are gonna figure out, okay, we got to play better now and win and play better. I think you'll see a better performance out of everybody on the Washington side today after getting away with that Bears win.
And keep in mind, I mean, these teams played earlier this year, September 15th, 21-18 Washington. Jaden Daniels played pretty well. You have to wonder, is he still feeling the issues from that rib injury? Something tells me the Giants get up for this one, obviously being a divisional game.
Yeah, division game. So, it can go either way on that one. Let's get to the second half of the slate, the afternoon games. The first one, the team that the Washington Commanders beat on a Hail Mary, the Bears, 4-3. They're last place in the division in their respective NFC North, Jeff. And the 4-4 Cardinals are tied for first place in the division. Ironic how that works. The Bears have a better record, but they're in last place. The Cardinals are 4-4 in first place. Where you at with this game? This is a +1.5 Chicago Bears, over under 45. I think it clears the over. That would be my bet. That's what I'm putting in a parlay. I got this over under as well, 45 over. That's what I'm betting. Where you at?
So, look, I've said before about the Cardinals, they're the most mystifying team in the NFL to me, Coach. Like, you look at the last 5 games. They got blown out by the Commanders. They beat the Niners by 1, got blown out by the Packers, beat the Chargers by 2, and then beat the Dolphins by 1 last week. So what are we seeing here? They play a lot of close games. They're a favorite in this game to a hungry Bear team. I just can't get there with betting Arizona as a favorite. It's just not my DNA. I want them as an underdog. Chicago has looked solid at times. They're 5-2 against the spread. I'd have to figure they're looking to right the ship after that embarrassment last week in the end zone, last play of the game. Bears are still giving up just 17 points a game. I think they're undervalued defensively. I've mentioned I like Caleb Williams. He gives them an edge on offense. These two teams are about as even as it gets. To me, though, the Bears defense is the difference. I like Chicago in this game +2. I think to get the bad taste out of their mouth by winning this game this week and beating Kyler Murray.
Yeah, shit, man. Kyler goes to Miami, gets the win. It's very interesting. He's so hit and miss, Kyler Murray, that is. Caleb Williams, even more hit and miss.
But again, the difference in the game is one team gives up 17 points a game. The other gives up almost 26. These are two pretty average offenses. Bears have been much better defensively. And again, after last week, you'd have to think they're willing to right the ship and can right the ship because they're a good defense.
Yeah, it's interesting, Bailey. I just sent you a thing in the private chat. If you could put that in. The kid that lost in the game last week that was talking to the crowd, Jeff, if you remember, that went viral, a shitbird, let's just be honest. He's over there talking, goes over there. One of my kids is a starting DB there in Chicago, Elijah Hicks, number 22 there, who was on that Hail Mary play. Those guys care. A lot of those guys care. I talked to Elijah Hicks, and he said, man, coach, it's fucked up. This kid that was a shitbird last week who tipped the ball basically like a volleyball player and made the Redskins win the game, Commanders, was told he wouldn't start this week. Should have been a no-brainer. I don't think there should have even been an argument. He pulls himself out of the lineup at practice and walks off the football field because he found out he wasn't starting. And apparently the team in the locker room is not very pleased about it. And they're actually like, fuck you, get out. And that's what the rumors are that I'm hearing. Bailey might be able to get that graphic in. But does that matter to you, Jeff? Now we have a little turmoil in the locker room. Can we have a little bit of do they play better now without a shitbird? Or do they play worse? I don't believe he's going to make them better. But I think losing a shitbird is addition by subtraction. The Bears may change my mind here today.
Yeah, well, I think, when you look at Stevenson, he's actually not performed real well. I mean, he's in the 98th percentile in coverage rate, just not very good. And throw in the fact that not only did he bat the ball like a volleyball player, but he was also like yelling at the fans, like not paying attention, and had to kind of figure things out real quick and then fucked up. So he fucked around and found out. I think when you, as you know, you're a coach, you've got to get these types of cancers out, right? He hasn't played well either. So I think this would be, if anything, a good thing for the Bears, surely. He needs to sit down for a little bit, and good for them for doing so. In the NFL, you are professionals. You are the best of the best, and you have to behave like one. That was not a professional move, and he's not played well to begin with. So I like it. Get him out of there.
Yeah. Moving on to the next game, Jeff. Jags-Eagles. Your Eagles go out and dominate a Bengals team last week that we all picked Bengals in that one, I believe. The Jags are just a mess. Jeff, former coach, he's going back home to see a statue that you guys put outside your building of him when he won a Super Bowl for the team. Mm-hmm. Interesting game. My plus 7.5. The Jaguars over under 46. I think all betting money is on the Eagles. They're on a high. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown. Where are you at with this?
Yeah, I mean, quietly, JB, the Eagles are just kind of figuring things out slowly but surely. You have to ask yourself, and I'll ask you, I'm a fan, I'll ask you, are the Eagles a team to start paying attention to in the NFC? Obviously, we know the Detroit Lions are very good. There's some other teams that are solid too. Eagles are just slowly kind of putting things together. Here's what I'll tell you. Doug Peterson, the last time anything good happened to him was in Philadelphia. Hopefully they give him a nice ovation. I'm sure they will. I didn't think he'd actually get to this game. I thought he'd be fired by now. The Jags have all sorts of problems. Gabe Davis is inactive right now and injured. Ezra Cleveland, the left guard, is injured. Brian Thomas has been in and out. He's been hurt. Evan Engram at times has been out. Trevor Lawrence isn't taking the next step. This defense isn't very good. I have this as a bottom 4 team in the league. This team is bad. I would have fired Doug by now. They haven't. This seems like a great spot for the Eagles at home. Really no excuse, but I'll just throw this little tidbit out there. The Eagles are not good as a favorite of over a touchdown. They don't cover numbers a lot of the time, but right now they are. They're playing well. The defense looks good. They're bending but not breaking. It would be Eagles or pass here, but the Eagles just aren't good in this role. They have to essentially win by double digits.
They're rolling, man. I mean, you look at the last few weeks, they're rolling. They're playing a team that just doesn't know what they are in the Jaguars. They just don't know what they are, Jeff. They have a quarterback that they overpaid who's under-delivering. Let's just be fair. That's what he is. That's what a lot of these quarterbacks in the NFL are doing. So it's not just Trevor Lawrence. But, I would actually just take the Eagles on the money line.
Listen, Coach, Joe Burrow couldn't move the ball outside of that first drive against the Eagles with plenty of weapons. I can't think that Trevor Lawrence can either. I feel like the Jags have just kind of Doug's lost that locker room a little bit. They've kind of fallen apart and quit. They haven't really played for him. I would lean Eagles here.
Yeah. Let's get to the interesting one. The Rams trying to get healthy, get on a roll, beat a Minnesota team who was undefeated for most of the year. They lose 2 in a row in a matter of 8 days. The Rams are one of those teams that beat Minnesota. They travel up to the Pacific Northwest, a team they've dominated over the last few years in Seattle. This is a pick'em game. This is over under 48, Jeff. The Rams' Nakua may play. Re-injured a knee. Scares me. Cooper Kupp caught a touchdown last week. Nakua had more yards and catches, though. It depends on if he can go or not. But Kyrie Williams has been dominant at running back. Leads the league. I believe he scored a rushing touchdown in every game this year. Only him and Derrick Henry have done that. I like the Rams here to go up there and win this game, but it's a -1 spread for the Rams, Jeff. Over under 48. Could it be a shootout? Sure. Either secondary is very good. The Seahawks are abysmal on defense at times, and then they can get to the passer at times. Geno Smith has been playing better on the road, Jeff, than he has at home. Do we get a little rain and wind up there in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle? today. I like the Rams to win the football game, but it's a -1, Jeff. I mean, how do you pick that if you're a picker?
Yeah, well, maybe we can get JB with his Rams sunglasses on as usual with the hat, and we all know he's a big Ram guy. I don't think he's ever picked against the Rams, and no surprise here.
I picked the Packers to beat them, remember, a couple weeks ago.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm going the other way. I'll go with the desperate Seattle team here who, look, the Rams just aren't very good on defense, Coach. They're 28th in defensive DVOA. They just don't get a lot of stops. And I know the Seahawks don't either, but to me, at home, kind of desperate. Geno's playing well. I don't like Sean McVay in a role off of after winning 2 or more games. In the next, Sean McVay, very bad in his career, 12-25. There's just not a ton of consistency with his against the spread numbers. It seems like the Rams are always injured in some form or fashion. Being at home, kind of a desperate spot. Give me the Seahawks.
Yeah, gloomy and cold weather day today. I don't know. It depends on if Nakua goes, I'm comfortable with the Rams. If he doesn't, then they rely more on the run game and the tight ends because Cooper Kupp, you can't milk him, Jeff. He's just getting too banged up. He can't be the single solo guy. You saw what happened with Mike Williams when he's overloaded and overused. Cooper Kupp's the same way. But I like McVay in big games, and he has to have this win to keep in the playoff hunt in a division, Jeff, where really the Cardinals are in first place in that division with the Niners being down. The Rams think they can steal the division. So do the Seahawks. I like the Rams here in a back against the wall type of game to win it late with a field goal. I'm going to take the Rams on the money line, but it's going to be a very interesting one. This is the game of the night, in my opinion. Lions-Packers, Jeff. Jordan Love has been questionable last few weeks, banged up. Malik Willis went 2-1 in starts if he does get the nod. One team 6-1. Overall, I think they're playing better than anybody in the NFL, the Lions. And then the Packers, 6-2. Travel up there, and it's a +2.5 for the Packers, over under 47.5. Do you see a shootout, Jeff? Or if Jordan Love doesn't go, do they run the football with Josh Jacobs and try to control time of possession and limit the Lions' possessions? Because that's what you will have to do to slow down this Lions offense, who have basically just been scoring 50s and 40 burgers on the last few opponents. Very interesting. You got to look at those two scenarios. Do you limit their offensive possessions by running the football on Green Bay side, or do you try to play a shootout type of game? And I don't think Malik Willis, if he gets to start, is that guy. So it's a very, very interesting pick here, Jeff. But I'm gonna shock the world, and I'm gonna take the Packers to shock the world today and win by a field goal.
Yeah, I actually like the Packers too here. I think the great equalizer in this game for Green Bay could be the conditions, but this is going to be a weather game. Supposedly it's rainy, windy, kind of ugly up in Green Bay. And I think that's the equalizer here against the Detroit offense that obviously very good in domes, but when you go outside, Jared Goff just hasn't been very good in his career in these type of situations. I think this is a sucker bet too. You throw the Lions out there at 2.5, maybe, Love doesn't play. Why is the number only 2.5? I think Green Bay gets the job done. I think they lean on the ground game, as you alluded to. And I think you can kind of limit Goff a little bit with some of the conditions in an outside game. So, yeah, I agree with you. Give me Green Bay here.
Yeah. Move on to the Colts-Vikings. Another very interesting play. I think a lot of money is going with the Colts to cover 5.5, Jeff. That's where I've been hearing the rumors. Flacco, the team's excited. They finally benched IR5. Everyone wanted to go with Flacco in the locker room. Flacco gets the nod going forward. There's no discussion. There's no debate. He's not getting pulled out unless he gets hurt. Knock on wood. +5.5 for the Colts. Over under 47, Jeff. Did this Colts team have a breakout type of offensive performance? Did they start getting the football to these playmakers on the edge that IR5 just couldn't get to? And the Vikings, Jeff, losers of 2 in a row. Can they bounce back and get a big win in the Dome at home? Over under 47. I'm going to take the Colts to cover 5.5. That's my parlay pick. But I could be totally wrong on this. The Vikings can actually get off the schneid here and dominate. I don't know. It's a pick-em game for me, but I'm gonna take the Colts to cover it. Where you at?
Yeah, Minnesota kind of coming back to earth a little bit. I like this Colts team, Coach. They've covered 5 straight games as an underdog. They went to the better quarterback in Joe Flacco, which I looked for. Look, they still covered last week at Richardson. It was a fucking skitsy fest. It was skitsy all over the place. He's running back. He almost fumbled on the last one. I think he did fumble. But you get Flacco. You get a pretty undervalued defense. John Taylor's healthy. Look, if the Colts are getting more than 3, I'm on them. They just cover as an underdog. They're that good. You've covered 6 of 10 overall as a dog. I'm all in. Give me the Colts plus 5.5. I think the Vikings are coming back to earth from a considerable level to where they are now. They just didn't move the ball against the Vikings. I don't know what else or against the Rams. I don't know what to say. Give me the Colts. Good underdog team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. That's in the afternoon slate. So I don't know. Let's get to these other games. There's where are we at with the Monday Night Football games?
I haven't gotten too deep into it just yet. I mean, obviously the Bucs are a disaster on defense. That doesn't bode well against, Mahomes at home, 7-0 Mahomes. I mean, just kind of look, we talked about Andy Reid. We talked about Mahomes. It's just still unbelievable that this team's 7-0. With it seemed like they lose guys every year and they still find ways. It's pretty impressive. I don't think the Bucs are going to be a team to come in with all their injuries and problems to upend it. I'll be looking at like a Kansas City team total over. This offense should be able to move the ball against a bad defense. Coach, I'm already looking at week 11 in the college football ranks. I already made a couple of plays. College basketball starts tomorrow, so I don't know that I'll have much interest in this game. Yeah,
this is a banged-up team that I just and Baker had a good year to start. He was leading the league in touchdowns. I mean, this guy had weapons aplenty. Now he's got nothing. This team, it might have been deflated. And I would expect the Chiefs to stay undefeated, Jeff, because even they're winning games. I don't know what else to say. They're beating teams in a slugfest style. They're beating teams in a shootout style. They're beating teams. They're coming back in the fourth quarter. They're either down or tied or within a 7-point game every single game. It's not like they're pulling away from teams. The Chiefs just figured it out. Andy Reid's the best coach in football. They're figuring it out. 7-0. I expect them to stay 8-0. With a Mahomes who's underperformed this year. I think he leads the league in interceptions. He has more picks than touchdowns. This is just a team. Pacheco may be back in late November, looking to practice in the next week or two. The Chiefs gets him back. Who knows, man? I just think if they get DeAndre Hopkins involved, it's going to be interesting, man. It's very interesting. Andy Reid is just the best coach of football, and that's really what it is. And he figures it out. So I expect them to stay 8-0, Jeff. Real quick, your lock pick of the week. You've alluded to a few. Where you at with give the fans a true lock pick of the game of the slate today, and I'll give you mine.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Giants plus the 4 against the Commanders. I also like Green Bay plus 2.5 against the Detroit Lions. I will also mention, go check out BetUS. Use coach's code Coach JB. Get yourself a big deposit bonus. And tomorrow starts our college basketball show on BetUS, which I'm back for. So
where's that at, Jeff? Where's that at?
That is on BetUS TV on their YouTube channel. We have our own. I'll post the links and stuff. But yeah, a lot going on.
And follow Jeff on Twitter. He started his new Twitter, so make sure you guys all go follow him. He got 1,000 followers in a less than a 24-hour span. So Jeff knows how to do the social media thing and gets his name back out there. So follow him. Make sure you follow him today. It's just at Jeff Nadu now, right?
Yep.
At Jeff Nadu. Go follow him on Twitter today. Salisbury will be back next week. He's driving across the country, or he's driving across the state of Texas with his kids, and he couldn't join the show, so he'll be back next week. By the way, we have a couple picks from Sean King, Jeff, that he wanted to give out. We invited John King to join us today, but he had to go to a church function. His 2 picks and his 2 lock picks, Jeff, are very interesting. Where you at with Sean King's 2 lock picks right there?
Yeah, as I said, I don't agree on the Broncos. I do agree on the Seahawks. So,
yeah,
good luck to him.
I'm my lock pick, Jeff, of the week today is going to actually be the Cowboys to win the game against the Atlanta Falcons. It's a lock pick of the week.
It's a pretty good bet. I think the over has legs.
They got to win it. They got to. If they don't win it, Jeff, I think this is it. I mean, you got to fire McCarthy. You got to fire sell this team. My lock pick is the Cowboys to win the game, and that's in my parlay at BetUS. So head on over there and use the promo code Coach JB. Jeff?
I also want to, before we go, if we could just touch on some college. Dabo Swinney, you got to wonder with this guy. I mean, finally play a real team and lose. A pathetic offensive performance by Clemson, just dreadful to watch. And Coach, could I just comment on something? This is how brutal betting can be occasionally. Yesterday, I have Duke plus 20.5, Coach. They were up 28-17. They're up 11, getting 20.5. So I'm up 31, essentially. They don't cover and lose by 22. What a just disgusting beat. A disgusting beat.
Oh, yeah.
And Oregon, shout out to Oregon, scoring with about 15 seconds to go to cover the spread.
I won that one. I won that one.
I like that.
Yeah, I won that one, man. At 14.5, I believe what it was.
And Coach, I hate to say it, but I will. There's two clear signs for the Heisman Trophy. Cameron Ward is number 1. Dylan Gabriel is number 2. Simple.
Yeah.
By the way, Ginty's out.
Yeah, and Cam Ward is just so inconsistent, man.
No, he's not.
No,
he's not. He said the best offense in the country the whole year.
I get it, but look at the games. They should have lost 4 games.
But they didn't.
ACC ref for how long?
Coach, you've made the comment, if my aunt had a dick, she'd be my uncle. You've said that many times. Cameron Ward has been as consistent as it gets.
Yeah, but he really hasn't. He's horrible. I've been watching with Steve Kim, who's the biggest Miami guy there is, and he'll tell you he missed his layups, Jeff. And I'm just telling you, he makes the routine play so difficult. I'm just telling you, if you really watch him and evaluate him, will he get the Heisman if they stay undefeated? Sure, of course. You know how it goes. Same with Dylan Gabriel. It'll be a 2-man race down there in New York. But he has been very inconsistent. Has the team and the offense won? Yeah. But him as a quarterback, I'm just telling you, if you really watch him, he's struggling.
There's three guys that will win it. It'll be these 3. It'll either be Travis Hunter, Dylan Gabriel, or Cameron Ward. Everybody else is out. They have no shot. Ginty may not even get invited. He's out. Done. See ya. Bye.
I don't know about that. He'll get invited. Come on now. He'll get invited.
He's 6-1 at this point. He's done. He's out. See
well,
ya.
I told you that. I told you once he has a 120-yard gamer left.
And he did against UNLV. He was very poor.
Yeah. And then he goes and they dominate.
Look, it sucks. But hey, this is why instead of playing at Boise, you should have go play at Texas or something.
Yeah.
That's the shame in it.
He's a one-man band in Boise, and he single-handedly has that team possibly a playoff team. If that doesn't get him into the conversation, then people that voting just don't know football.
I'll tell you this, and I'm glad they did. They threw the ball a lot, which that's another problem they had in the first half. They threw the ball a lot against San Diego State. They've got a couple of tougher games. I don't think they'll lose against Nevada or San Jose, but 2 pretty interesting offenses. So we'll see. But I think he's out at this point.
Yeah. Unfortunate. That's just what they are. That they do now. That's how they pick them now. So it's unfortunate. I think it's some of the worst quarterback play I've ever seen in my life.
I love college though. It's so much better than NFL. It is just so.
Oh, it is. It is.
And by the way, shout out to all these goofs that keep betting against Indiana. How's that fucking working out for you fucking clowns? They bet against Indiana every fucking week.
I love Signetti's post. Everyone was wondering what they would be like because they hadn't trailed all year, and everybody was like, "What would they be like down?" I think they were down 10-0, and
they were
47-10, and
49-10 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he tweets out, "Well, now we know how it is to be behind."
By the way, too, and I do want to point this out. This is pathetic stuff. I love Jeff Monken at Army, but what they did yesterday with the quarterback situation, really disgraceful. Look, I get kids get sick and stuff, but come on, man. I mean, seriously, against Air Force an hour before the game. I mean, that's weak. And by the way, Navy.
What did he do? I don't know what he did.
Yeah, so all week there was not one mention of it. An hour before the game, Bryson Daly's out. He's sick. Like, that's weak. Come on, man. They still won the game, but it's weak. They won by 20. I think they were 23-point favorites. And Navy coach lost again.
Why is it weak? Why is it weak?
It's weak because as we say that we care about the the different you should have been mentioned the day before or something. You don't do that to people. A lot of money changes hands in these games. Gambling is important.
There you go. There you go. Say it, Jeff. It's about your bets. You're mad about the bet.
Well, no, I got out of the game. I didn't end up betting it because that happened. But
Jeff, do you think us coaches give a fuck about you?
There's integrity. Yeah, because these betting companies are important to the bottom line of fucking sports. That's just the truth.
The coach ain't giving a fuck.
I know, but it's still weak. Yeah. Coach, come on. He's sick. It's Air Force. Get out and play.
I'm not giving my opponent any insight on my quarterback if he's injured. Like, come on, man. You guys, you better guys.
He's not injured. He wasn't injured.
You got your betting guys are. It's totally dismissed. You're dismissing the fact that this.
But he wasn't injured. He wasn't
injured. Give a fuck less. But I'm just by rule though, Jeff. The rule is the rule. I don't have to announce it as my.
I'm just saying there should be a rule where like you have to there's injury reports for a reason. Like that's
But college there's not. NFL there is. That's
well, it could be in everything to me.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's a better talking in you, which I respect, but I don't.
But so at a professional level we do, but we don't do it at a college level?
Well, it's up to you to bet. It's not my job to make sure I fucking fulfill your bets.
I'm not saying it is. I'm not talking about I'm more or less.
Yeah, I know.
Like I'm talking about the whole like
way I'm
we
just saying if I'm the coach though, if you think that we're sitting here thinking about what your fucking bets are, you're crazy. Like we don't give a fuck.
But we also pay players now. I think we have a duty to, do certain things. So.
But then the casinos don't let UNLV use them as collectives. So like, which one is it? Well, you know what I mean? Like,
listen, there's a lot of problems that they have. And
they never forward thought this, Jeff. They never forward thought this when they wanted to get collectives and all these people involved. They should have thought outside the box because 12-team playoff goes to a 14. Now we're gonna have a fucking 24-team playoff in 2 years because the money on the betting side is gonna be so big. Watch.
Well, as important as gambling is, and for someone like myself, I bet money on these games. I have other people betting money on these games. It's just I get out of the game. I didn't end up betting it, but that said, it definitely was brutal to see.
I wonder why it was only a 20-7 game or whatever. I know it wasn't a big blowout. Yeah.
That's why
I saw that. Interesting. At least we don't have 2 Monday night games, and at least there'll be a decent evening game tonight. In this one. Before you get out of here, though, the Thursday night game, Jets game, you think the Jets are even back, or do you think that was just a Texans team that's just riddled at receiver, O-line?
Yeah.
CJ Stroud's booked as out. I said this will be the year that he'll struggle, his sophomore year. That's what it is. That's what NFL rookies struggle with in their second year. That's what's happening. Tank Dell's not fully healthy. I know Tank, obviously recruiting him. He's not this fast kid that I know. You saw him get walked down the other day. I believe he's still recovering from the injury. Robert Woods and Mechie are just guys now at this point, and they're just not guys to get you over the hump. Nico Collins hopefully gets back there, get their O-line back. I think the Texans are just injured like the Rams and the Niners, in my opinion.
No, it's exactly right. I mean, they still outgained the Jets from a yardage standpoint, even without all those players.
Like, yeah, let's just pump our break. Like, they lost to the Patriots a week before. Like, come on. Or 5 days before.
But that's also remember, I mean, they did have a touchdown taken off the board, just a random play that happened. It sucks. But, I'm not big on the Jets. I thought the last 2 weeks on Thursday was like stealing with the NFL as far as a gambling standpoint. By the way, Anthony, get prepared to lose money if you listen to Nadu. Yes, you fade everything I give, Anthony. Go ahead. Good luck.
Don't worry about Jeff's picks last week when he won.
No mention.
All right, good show, man. All you guys got enough. We got enough time. You guys should get to all your bets in. Go take them on. Head on over to BetUS, and Nadu's college basketball show starts tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned for that. He's one of the.
By the way, Anthony, what do you like this week? Let us know what you're on.
He won't. And there's no pitcher either.
By the way, tomorrow, Iowa State -40, lay it in college basketball. Iowa State -40.
-40, God.
Yes, they're going to win by 60. Wow.
Who are they playing? Sisters of the Poor?
Mississippi Valley State.
HBCU, legendary.
The worst team in the country.
Yeah, wow. I didn't even know
Anthony, we're waiting. Stop joking around. We want your picks, Anthony. Stop fucking around and avoiding the subject. Please, Anthony. We're waiting.
What is that profile pitch? Is that a flower?
Some gay thing. Anthony, we're waiting. What do you like?
Everything. He doesn't. That's it. That's what they are.
Anthony, you don't know the difference between a bet, a money. You don't know anything. Get out of here. Go away.
Yeah, Jeff's good in college basketball, Steve H. He does. Jeff, as always, good Sunday. Enjoy your week. Go have I don't know if you drink on Sundays, but I
don't. I just drink water right now.
I'll drink for you.
Sounds good.
All right, man. I'll see you next week. I'll see you Monday. Right, all right, Friday. Peace. All right, guys. I'll see you guys. Enjoy. Head on over to BetUS and stay tuned tomorrow for the Coach AB show with Big Smitty. It is Merciless Monday. I'm going to take no mercy. Stay tuned. We'll see you at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning for the Coach AB show with Big Smitty. Enjoy your Sunday. I'll see you later. Peace.
The last chance cube. Let's go. And I just cannot wait to bring over 60 years of knowledge and experience to not only the novice football fan, Sean, but to the veteran football coach as well.
You love it, you better live it, drink it, eat it, smoke it, and then every now and again wake up with it laying next to you.
The premier football coaching show on the internet.
I've looked forward for the longest time to be with somebody whose energy and knowledge of football and